Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to my Last of Us review. So I know I was a little late with this one, so I do apologize, but I am here with this review here now. Honestly, I wasn't expecting this episode to be as good as it was, I will just say, just because, there's been a lot of talk, honestly, about, I guess, The Last of Us and what it's going to be like for the show going forward because Joel died, right? So, obviously a big character, and a lot of people, at this point in the game didn't really like the rest of the game. And I think, I am really interested in seeing, I actually have no idea what the ratings are for episode 3. I'd like to see if there was a drop off from episode 2, because it's possible the viewership went up even, right? Like with the interest and all the talk about what happened in episode 2. So I would like to see actually what did happen there. But anyways, I do want to get into my thoughts here on episode 3. So before we go any further, make sure to be a subscriber if you want to get all my The Last of Us content like this, especially with season 2. But let's get into this here. So the opening minutes really focused on this for quite a bit before jumping forward 3 months. And I was not expecting that. Honestly, I thought that after Joel died, that they would have more of a, I don't know, celebration, for Joel and whatnot, and really just explore that. And they didn't do that. They did a 3-month time jump. So I wasn't the biggest fan of that, because Tommy's reaction, I guess it was all right. Some people do react just, in different ways to death. For Ellie, it made sense. But again, it was just after that opening sequence to jump forward 3 months and see the characters in totally different places. I guess I get it, because for the next however long, the characters would have been in a really bad place anyways. I just wish that we saw a little bit more of that, because that was really what I was kind of excited about after the ending of episode 2 was like, well, now they're bringing Joel back to Jackson. So what's happening next, right? But it just looked like, they're literally just rebuilding the place. Like, I do get it. It's going to take a while to rebuild, and maybe there was going to be a time jump no matter what. But I think if you're going to explore a time here, with all these things happening, again, they're spreading out the second game over 3 seasons or something like that, right? So, or at least that's the rumor anyways. I don't know if they actually will do that. I don't know if we are even getting a season 4, but I think that exploring a little bit more of this just makes more sense. It would have just made more sense for the characters in the story to focus more on Joel's death instead of moving on so fast. It's kind of hard to believe that literally by the end of this episode, they are in Seattle. Wait, what? That was so fast. They really went through that really fast here. And so we do see them all rebuilding Jackson, Tommy, everyone's there. Ellie's talking about Joel, and is actually let out of the place that she's been in for the last 3 months because, now she's feeling better, and she goes home. And then this is actually something that I do like. So Ellie goes home and then starts to be reminded of everything that was Joel's, right? And it was just everything. His clothes were still there. The house looked exactly the same, and it just sort of broke her right away. It was just, she misses him a lot. And I think that feeling is something that a lot of people could obviously relate with, if you have dealt with loss, going back home afterwards and experiencing just little things like that. You just start to feel like this is too real. And I think for Joel, that's one of the aspects of this whole situation that I'm not a fan of, but I do get in terms of how you want to explore the story. So Joel's death happened in a way where it was he was trying to make it back home, right? He was just on a mission and then he died. And it was not the most heroic death or anything like that, right? He just died out there. Somebody killed him and he never got to come back to help Jackson out. Nothing really. There was no hero's goodbye. Nothing at all. And it was just so random and out of nowhere, like a crazy accident, right? And it just wasn't expected. And so you go back home to a place like that. And it's something that I do kind of like in one sense, right? I think with some characters, you want them to have these bigger deaths, oh, this character's going to die in this way, or and sometimes maybe it's just a very simple thing that happens, even though this isn't necessarily simple. He literally got killed in a pretty harsh way, but I would say overall, it's a little more, I guess, realistic is the best way I can sort of describe it. And so Ellie feeling this loss, that was probably the best moment of the episode for me personally. Dina does show up, and we actually learned from her that she knows everything about the group there. And it was kind of cool, just with them catching up on everything, because they haven't seen each other in a while, and we want to go and get revenge for Joel's death. And so Tommy is I get it, I want that too, but we have to get people in Jackson on board, and Maria needs to know, right? We need to actually vote on this and have 16 people go out there and, you know, if everyone agrees, then cool, we'll go and do that. And of course, the whole thing just does not go Ellie's way at all. And so Ellie is forced to go out on her own, right? And I kind of liked that whole scene there with all of them voting. Like, I don't remember if that was actually a part of the game at all, but yeah, Tommy's reaction to Ellie being gone is going to be pretty interesting to see, because Tommy, or actually the actor who plays Tommy, was mentioning something recently where he does feel like he has to take care of Ellie now, right? So I mean, we saw that a little bit in this episode here, and he was talking about that, and he was talking about Ellie, you know, going down the same path that Joel did. He doesn't want that. And so some really cool moments here. Obviously, we saw some more of a new group that I'm not going to get into here, but I will just say it is connected to the Washington Liberation Front. I'm trying to not get into spoilers for the game, and like, obviously we never learned too much about this group yet, so I'm not going to like say what the group's name is and whatnot, because I don't want to spoil anything from the game. I mean, obviously they could make changes and go in different directions here, but with what we saw there in this episode, yeah, there is a connection to the Washington Liberation Front. And yeah, the story's about to get very, very interesting, especially since Ellie is actually in Seattle now. But going back, when Ellie and Dina choose to leave Jackson, there's actually a very cool scene where Ellie does go to visit Joel. And I'll say the visuals here are just absolutely incredible. This is the stuff that I love so much. Like the color grading here, the tone, everything here in terms of just the visuals absolutely blew me away here. Like I just wasn't expecting to see something like that, where we just saw Ellie literally go and see Joel, and it was just like this heartfelt scene. And it is sad, you know, it's just, I mean, I don't know, it's just, it's crazy to see, right? Like it's just absolutely insane. But Ellie's really not in a place where she's ready to like mourn Joel's death. Like she misses him, but she wants revenge, and like that's really all her focus is on right now. And I think that after this whole revenge thing is over is where she's going to really feel that loss there. But the visuals here, just a really incredible moment overall. And yeah, Ellie is now out there surviving, and again, we saw Ellie out there surviving, and it's just absolutely insane if you really think about it. Like they traveled so far, they went really, really far, and it's kind of unbelievable if you think about it in terms of just the timeline of the episode, because I'm used to stuff where it doesn't take that long for them to travel in any way like that. But here it's like they literally took days or whatever, and we just saw them traveling all the way to Seattle, and they actually got there at the end. And I think that in terms of the pacing of it, I'm like blown away by it, because I feel like that is way too fast. Honestly, it's like, wait, what? They actually got there that fast, right? But like, I guess it just makes sense with the episode. Like, I do like the fact that it ended in that way, where they're in Seattle now. And I mean, we have 4 episodes left here. I'm trying to think of like where things are going to go, just based off of the games. Like, what makes sense to happen next, right? I do know that Abby and Ellie are likely going to meet at some point here, probably in the finale, and I think that that's probably going to be the ending here. I think it'll likely be, well, I guess I can't get into that because I don't want to spoil the game. Like, I really don't want to do that unless it doesn't matter overall. But yeah, I don't want to get into that right away here. But overall, this episode I thought was a really cool, I guess just aftermath episode. It was a Joel's death aftermath episode, and we saw Ellie's reaction to everything. We saw how everyone was dealing with all of it. We saw Jackson rebuilding. And now Ellie knows what to do now in terms of her quest for revenge, right? She knows their names. She knows Abby's name. She's going out there now, and it's going to be a really interesting and I think fun story, because the show seems to be doing this better than the game. And I don't know if it's because, you know, now they can look back and like fix little things here and there, focus more time on this moment and on this moment. Like, there's a lot of different reasons as to why this is working out a little bit better. But yeah, I'll just say that I'm enjoying the show so much more than I actually did with the game. And I mean, yeah, that has to be HBO. That's the writers. That's all of them really looking at this and being like, all right, well, let's just actually make changes for the better here, and I think people will be overall very, very happy. And so far, I would say The Last of Us has been doing absolutely incredible. So yeah, anyways, I'm gonna leave it here. Definitely post all your thoughts down below. Hope you all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.